Here we go.
We are here, and this is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. And guess what? We're talking concerns at running back, Daniel, because, oh my gosh, if the season started today,
okay,
we'd only have 2 legit running backs and 3 active on the roster if the season started today.
But does the season start today?
Oh, but wait a second. The season doesn't start today. We're going to talk about running back depth leading into spring and G-Day next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel. He is Clint. Today's episode brought to you by the fine folks over at FanDuel. More about them in a second, but so glad that you're here. We're in the middle of this week. We got the Final Four coming up this weekend. We got G-Day coming up in a couple weeks. We got the Masters coming up before that. It's just one weekend after another, things just continue to get better and better in the lives of people who love sports. Opening day is tomorrow for most of you if you're listening to this on Wednesday. Clint, the Atlanta Braves might have 4 legitimate National League MVP candidates. 4.
Wilson just crushing balls. Ronald Acuna is the best player in all of baseball. Michael Harris said
is the best outfielder on the Braves, and that includes the best player in all of baseball.
That's hard to beat. And then we got, don't forget, Austin Riley Thunder Thighs himself over there just raking. And
it makes me uncomfortable when you talk about Austin Riley's thighs because I know how much you've been looking, but I'm just going to allow it. We're going to opening day is nearby. Check out Locked On Braves podcast for all of that. We're here to talk about the Bulldogs, though. It's spring practice, and there's been some consternation because Daijun Edwards down with a bit of an injury, and then word came out this week that Kendall Milton,
hamstring,
an old non-contact injury, which always makes people nervous. Immediately you hear that non-contact injury, and you just like, whoop, end it.
It comes up to about here.
Does not seem to be that serious.
No.
So everybody take a sigh of relief, a deep breath. But Kendall Milton is shut down for the spring, and so we're not going to be seeing either Daijun or Kendall. These are backs 1 and 1A in the pecking order.
You know why I don't need to see or hear from them at all?
Because you know what you got.
Because I saw and heard all that I needed to last year from these two.
You know what you got. Now, let's start here. We're going to get to why this is not a big deal and what you will see this spring and why this may be a good thing for the University of Georgia, which I think you're alluding to. But let's start here. The one line of thinking that I will listen to in this discussion is the line of thinking that says, dang it, is Kendall Milton ever going to be healthy as a Georgia Bulldog? Because there's some frustration, I think. And listen, none of us are feeling the frustration more than this young man is because he chose to come back for another year, get the bulk of the carries, really prove himself, assert himself, and increase his draft stock. This injury doesn't seem to do anything to diminish that possibility. And yet, with a career that has been as injury-plagued as Kendall Milton's has already, I think there could be a bit of concern that this young man is been bitten by the snake, as it were. And so, Clint, do you put any stock into that, and how are you feeling on that front?
I don't know to put into stock into something or not as it pertains to this. This injury bug that happens is a total misnomer, but there does happen to be, every time you step on the field, you roll the dice. This is true. of any contact sport, a violent contact sport like football. It seems that Kendall Milton has been hit by this, and it seems that for whatever reason, he is somebody that I do have concerns with injury-wise. And it's unfortunate. I guess the biggest thing is it's simply unfortunate, and it's simply something that happens in football from time to time, and we have no clue exactly why. These are highly trained, highly tuned, highly skilled, and highly conditioned athletes that could happen to anybody, and it seems to happen to more. And Kendall Milton's there. I just feel for the dude because, again, like you said, nobody wants to ball out more than this guy, and he could ball out. So I'm not saying like this guy's not brittle bones or anything like that. I don't put stock into that. I do put stock into the dice just hits sometimes for guys on the chance meter, and it seems to be Kendall Milton, and you see this constantly with a whole lot of people in football. So I hope it's not the case. I'm glad they're shutting them down. Soft tissue stuff, hamstring stuff like this can be lingering and can be nagging. So the best thing to do, get PT.
Absolutely. Take the summer and recuperate, young man. We do not need to see you again till August.
I'm fine.
Yeah, we'll be just fine for the next few months. Next segment, let's come back, Clint, and let's talk about the two young men that are on Scully on this roster, and let's figure out, could this be a positive bit of news for the University of Georgia?
Interesting.
In disguise. But first, I'm sure, Clint, we would be remiss.
We would be.
If we did not talk to the fine folks about FanDuel.
FanDuel is fantastic, Daniel.
It is. It's the season to be betting. Okay. We already talked to you about it. Like all the things that are happening. You got the Final Four.
Thank you.
You've got the Masters. You've got opening day.
Scheffler? Is Scheffler your
it's hard to go against Scheffler. Let me say this to you though, Clint.
Give me a second.
Jordan Spieth is playing really good golf this year.
Don't hate that at all.
He's playing really good golf. There's so many things to like coming up, and FanDuel is the place to get it all because if I'm not mistaken, Clint, you can still go to FanDuel right now, and as a new customer, you can get a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000.
Bonus bets.
Duke's over here making a deposit as we're recording on the podcast when he hears about the no-sweat first bet. $1,000 in bonus bets back up to if your first bet does not win. You're not going to get an offer like that anywhere else. And the only place to get it is to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, as the NBA season especially comes to a close and we get towards playoff time, we got that play-in tournament. You can bet on everything from money lines to parlays to spreads to three-pointers drained. FanDuel makes it easy. They are safe. They are reliable. FanDuel.com/lockedon for your no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. Make every moment more at FanDuel.
All right, we talking running backs and talking two that are on scholarship. It's the Robinson
brothers. They're not actually brothers.
No relation.
But they are both named Robinson. Roderick and Branson.
Okay.
It's the greatest duo of first names that I think we've had at running back. You're not a fan of Thunder and Lightning.
Okay.
But what if I told you Roderick and Branson was what we have
What
here?
if I told you that the Mighty Ducks missed out on the two main characters' names because
it is they are it's a buddy cop movie. It's it's a Wild West shootout movie. It's a heartwarming PG Disney movie. It's the two main characters' names are Roderick and Branson. Roderick Robinson II, true freshman, 4-star kid. By all accounts, really talented back. And then, what do we know about Branson Robinson, Clint?
He enjoys punishing opposing defenses for the insulting fact that they are attempting to stop him from progressing down the field.
Let me be honest with you,
please,
if I may.
You may.
This is not a slight towards anybody on the roster.
Oh, no.
But if I'm a linebacker, I'm upset that it was Kendall Milton that went down with injury and not Branson Robinson, just for my own physical well-being. Because Kendall Milton, a big old boy.
He's big old boy.
But Branson Robinson will punish you. I take you back to the national championship game, Clint, and the greatest run I've seen at the University of Georgia since Nick Chubb was that run in the national championship game where he literally carried a team to the end zone. Branson Robinson, Roderick Robinson are going to get a boatload of carries.
By the way, that play call, y'all remember the part in the game it was. This is Madden running out the clock.
This is Kirby shouting, "It's a run to the left." And everyone on the defense knew it, and they were all there.
And
the problem was that Branson Robinson was also there.
Look, this two running back hydra that we have coming in the spring, we're going to see a bulk of carries for them. They're going to get spills elsewhere, but we're going to see what they have. And to be honest with you, I am thrilled to get more eyeballs on these two. And like we've talked about, running back, linebacker in the SEC, there's a lot of intricacies. Running back is an easy position to get in when you are doing left off tackle. Okay, great. Been doing that since you were 12. I get it. I understand. It's a different blitz pickup, pass pro packages.
And see, that's the thing, Clint. We talk about it all the time. The pass pro reps that these guys. Let me just spoil this for you, people that are going to be in Athens on April 15th, and kudos. You're not going to see a lot of running the ball. You don't run the ball at G-Day. You don't. Nope. Even if you have healthy backs, you don't run the ball at G-Day. Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton, and Brock Vandegrift are going to be icing down the shoulders after G-Day because they are going to be letting it fly.
Get that stem, got those patches. Mm-hmm. Electricity is just pulsing.
You're not going to see a ton of running the ball. That's not what we're interested in primarily. That's not why this is such a good thing for Georgia. It's a good thing because these are two young backs. These are two backs that are contending for playing time. You also got a guy, Andrew Paul, who's still recovering from injury, who's hoping to be back by the fall. But these are two guys that are contending for playing time. And all these practice reps that they're getting and all these live G-Day reps that they're going to get are going to be in passing situations, which means, A, they're either going to be going out in the field to receive, which is great. Let's see it. Or they're going to be tasked with picking up the blitz from, the single best edge rushing unit that's ever been assembled in the history of college football. So it's a pretty great situation in terms of running back development on steroids. It's like you put it in a hyperbolic chamber and it just comes out the Captain America version of running back development because it's going to be so concentrated that these guys are going to get a season's worth of reps in the spring. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. And again, just quickly look at all the running backs Georgia's put in the league. And this is not, Georgia fan, please listen to this next statement. I need you to embrace it. There is no more workhorse running back in Athens. That's dead and gone. And praise God, because you get all them running backs coming through. Zeus is in the league. James Cook is in the league. McIntosh go in the league. Dejon Edwards will go to the league. Milton will go to the league. And they'll do great in it. And Georgia is better for it to have a stable of running backs that are healthy, that are whole, that are refreshed. Because as we know, the 199 knows over at good old Bonfire, the Kirby Death March is a thing, y'all, and he needs fresh legs to do it, and we have them, so it's going to be good. We're going to come back after this and hit our loyal third segment fans with just a gift to you. What's that gift, Daniel?
Well, we're going back to the bracket. Let's go to the bracket town. Let's go back to bracket town, and let's finish this thing off. We're to the Final Four, which so is college basketball. And
right in step.
Just like college basketball, our Final Four includes all 4 number 1 seeds. Okay. Just like college basketball, our Final Four includes 4 people who have never been an accessory to a violent homicide.
But see, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you there too.
Well, we need to pause on that as well. Okay. We have Final Four. in the damn good dog bracket. Let's just end it there. We got Stetson Bennett.
Mm.
We've got Jordan Davis. That's matchup number 1. Matchup
Yes.
number 2, two defensive players, I believe. Nakobe Dean going up against Nolan Smith.
3 out of 4 of the damnedest good dogs from the Kirby recruitment era.
Yes, this is only players Kirby Smart recruited.
And 3 out of the 4 are from the defensive side. Who would have thought, Daniel?
Who would have thought? And one of them is the greatest college football player in the history of football. So,
Well, there's that.
all right. Matchup number 1, Clint. To me, this is the championship matchup. Either of these guys, so I'm just going to spoil it. Whoever wins this is going to win the next round.
I don't think you're wrong at all.
Okay,
Daniel.
so let's move to the next round then.
Okay.
And let's talk about who the runner-up
runner-up
is going
is.
to be.
Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean.
Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean. It's tough.
This is tough.
Nakobe Dean, better player at Georgia. Nakobe
Hands
Dean,
down.
bigger impact on the field at Georgia.
I credit him with being, again, the best defense that college football has ever seen in the history of his existence was led by this man, Nakobe Dean.
I credit him with a lot of Quay Walker and Channing Tindall's development.
100%.
Nakobe Dean, the impact he made on the field, we thought we'd never see another Roquan Smith. And we haven't.
We have
But
not.
we did see a Nakobe Dean. And
They're
it was
different players.
pretty nice.
And yes, it was equally as exciting, to be totally honest with you. When Nolan Smith comes back for Kirby's job, go ahead and take Nakobe Dean as your DC.
That'd be
That's all I'm
great.
saying, Nolan.
That'd be great. Meanwhile, Nolan Smith's out here on the Pat McAfee show today, and he's just a walking billboard for the University of Georgia. This guy loves Georgia. He loves Kirby Smart, and I don't know how to describe it. He just seems to get it in a way that is different than most any other player to come through Athens. And to me, Clint, I think that's what gives him the edge over Nakobe Dean.
Look, Nakobe Dean is my second favorite linebacker to ever come through Georgia. Mm-hmm. He might be
which Nolan Smith plays. So
he might be the second most liked defensive player that's ever come through for me. Again, personally, me. But Nolan Smith feels like the guy that you want by your side no matter what goes down in life. If you're celebrating, he's going to celebrate with you. If you're in a pinch, he's going to get you out of it. And if you're a dog, there's no questions asked. It's one of those things where if you're a dog with him, he'll bleed for you all day.
If your
long.
names are Roderick and Branson and you're trying to stop a shootout at the saloon, then
Nolan Smith coming in with that
Smith
shotgun.
He's coming in, sheriff badge on.
I got you. It's a real thing. It's a real deal. Nolan Smith is that guy. He's fantastic, and it has to be him in the.
It
finals.
has to be him. He's going to be the runner-up in this
He is.
because he ain't taking down Stetson Bennett or Jordan Davis.
And to be honest, again, he's really third because 1 and 2 is between Stetson and Jordan, and he's third. But it happens in the bracket that he falls on the side where he gets to be in the final. So let's go. The best college quarterback ever to play the game versus the disclaimer of all disclaimers of I exhibit love for Georgia and everything about it, from the redcoats to the pageantry to the coach's kid to jokes to jovialness to excitement to beating down offensive linemen. This guy embodied Kirby Smart.
I think, and tell me if this is a wild statement.
Okay.
I think Jordan Davis might be the most liked Georgia player of all time. And by that, I don't necessarily mean that everyone, if I said to everyone, name your favorite Georgia player, who do you like the most of Georgia all time, everyone would say Jordan Davis. What I mean by that is there was never a moment in his Georgia career, from the minute he stepped on campus up until currently, there was never a moment where any Georgia fan, I believe, ever felt anything towards Jordan Davis other than extreme likability.
No animosity.
None.
One time.
Never. That's
Not a
what
single play.
So you're
not a
talking
game,
about
nothing.
the greatest college quarterback of all time
Uh-huh.
versus the most universally and continually liked Georgia player of all time. I don't know how you choose here.
Here's what you do. This is the defining moment. Okay.
Okay.
Do you like?
Is it one shining moment? Is that what we can call it? Or is that copyrighted? We could write a song about it.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
Okay.
You and I, Daniel, you and I should never write a song.
If we did, it would probably be better than the current One Shining Moment song. That's
true.
That's a take people are not going to like, but
it would be also a dirge if you and I
would be a funeral march.
Yes. Okay. Good. No. This is what comes. Do you want your damn good dog to be salty or sweet?
Ooh. Now this is interesting.
That's what this comes down to. If you want your damn good dog to be a little salty, it's Stetson Bennett. If you want your damn good dog to be sweeter, it's Jordan Davis. This is the defining aspect of how you decide. Because I'm going to credit Jordan Davis. Again, I said it was led by Nakobe Dean, but anchored. That all-world defense was anchored by Jordan Davis. That defense doesn't do what it does without Jordan Davis in the middle. I'm convinced.
When you said when all those players went to the draft,
yeah,
and we said Georgia's defense might be better this coming year, and they weren't better, but they were right there. They were right there with it. The only fear I had was not that we lost Nakobe Dean. It was not that we lost Channing Tindall or Lewis Seen or Quay Walker or any of them dudes. The only fear I had was that there are no more Jordan Davises coming. And there weren't any more Jordan Davis. There are no more Jordan Davises.
No.
Moving into this season, what's my only fear about this offense, Clint? There's just playmakers on top of playmakers. There's everything that you could ever want, but there are no more Stetson Bennett's coming.
Carson Beck or Brock Vandegrift.
There are no more Stetson Bennett's. That's what you have in these two players. I'm going to say, I think Stetson Bennett is the face of Georgia football for the foreseeable future.
I agree.
But I think Jordan Davis wins my damn good dog bracket.
Jordan Davis wins. This is not indicative of the best. He wins for me because I want my damn good dog to be a little sweet. And I don't, because the saltiness of Stetson it rubbed certain people the wrong way. We liked it for a while, but you always have, Daniel, it's like, if you will, a little Top Gun moment. Okay?
Are you about to call Stetson Bennett Iceman?
Iceman a little salty, okay? Which is, he's talented, he's all worldly, he's fantastic, he's probably the better pilot, let's be real. Okay? But Maverick got a little sweetness
Top Gun revisionist history going on over here. I don't know what to make of this. We're going to do an entirely different Top Gun podcast coming up. If we launched a Patreon, it would have just a whole episode dedicated to us breaking down Top Gun shot for shot. Well,
hold on.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Loyal third segment in the 199, bonfire.com/199/199.
It's Jordan Davis.
And Jordan Davis is, in fact,
he's the damnedest of the good dogs.
The damnedest of good dogs. The man was embodied of red coats. The coach's son loved him. He was always smiling. He was always bringing players together. He was never divisive, and you always had good feelings about him every single play.
That's absolutely right.
He embodies Georgia through and through. It's Jordan Davis. And then second runner-up would be Nolan Smith.
Yeah, that's right. Davis over Smith in the championship. It's a heck of a Final Four of Kirby-era recruits. I mean, we could do this for Georgia all time. It would be literally impossible. But if somebody wants to make us a bracket of all-time Georgia players, we will do it. Somebody suggested we do a Kirby recruits on one side of the bracket. We do a Mark Richt recruits on the other side of the bracket, and we go down there.
You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that because Nick Chubb just going to mow through all you fools. He's not even going to blink. He just an absolute torpedo through the championship game. Not even. He said, the ball is not heavy. I would like to run it more.
We're going to come back later this week. I got John Garcia on talking recruitment. Daniel's going to have an episode all to himself where he's going to just
Top Gun.
Exciting. Never mind. He's not all to, I'm coming back. We're going to be together next week. So just hold on to your hats, 199, because
who knows what's happening? Who knows when you'll see us?
Y'all don't realize Daniel and I are going to be at a beach and with no responsibility. And if you don't think certain liquids are flowing, and
we're not talking about salt water.
Salt water going to be out there. Okay. And if you don't realize that Top Gun going to make a second appearance next week, then
we're going to have a TV with Top Gun in the background. Zach, would that do for a set? Would that be okay?
Can I just take this out?
I think there's a copyright infringement in there. We can't post that on YouTube.
But if we do it in snippets, less than 8 seconds.
Less than 10 seconds.
Right. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, Locked On Podcast, your team every day. We'll see you all tomorrow.
See ya.